Hi, my name is Christina Edwards, and I'm participating in the BYU Idaho family class. And I wanted to talk with you a little bit about what I've been learning over the past couple of weeks. We've been studying from Teaching the Gospel and our Family Life Education book as well, which is chapters 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. And there has been a lot of information to learn, and so I'm very excited to share some of those with you. We talk about in teaching the gospel ways that we can relate to our students, and one of those is letting them know that we love them. I have seen this happen in my own son, who just started kindergarten, and he is one that never wants to sit down. He wants to constantly be moving. And in church, it's been a real struggle. He doesn't want to sit down when his teacher talks to him. She gets really frustrated with him. And I think she's really happy when he's sick. And so I was really scared taking him to kindergarten because I thought that we were going to be told that I needed to homeschool him. And his teacher, she is actually LDS, and she has shown him so much love, and he loves her so much. And he listens to her. He sits down and listens to her, not like he does at church, and he's completely different. And so seeing this has shown me how much love and compassion and letting your person know that you care about them can improve their learning experience just from a 5-year-old. I know that as adults, it's the same way. Even if it just takes a couple of moments of us chatting with a person in a friendly atmosphere and a friendly tone, letting them know that we actually care about them, that we're not just there to be professional and recruit their money, that it really helps them to learn and to listen to you and the things that you have to say. One of the things that I really like is that we are provided ways that we can help. I also coach a Lego League with my husband, 4th and 5th graders, and we have a couple of them that are really high functioning, and it's been a challenge as well. And so I love that we can pray for discernment and pray for charity to understand our students as well as be able to love them a little bit more than we may. And so to have that extra guidance is really helpful. I wanted to talk about stories that's used in our Teaching the Gospel, but also in chapter 6. Stories are really important because people relate to them. If you've ever been in any type of meeting, you know, probably for yourself, you seem to perk up a little bit more because you can relate, and then you can even relay, which is a great teaching method because you know that the person is learning. In my primary class that I taught a couple of months ago, I would teach. We were assigned. We were assigned in one of my classes to start practicing using stories and narratives, because they had proven that if you use those, that people will listen and they will remember. And so I started using those in my primary classes. And I had the students listen to me a lot more. And I even had my teacher that partnered with me say, "Why are they listening to you so much more? They don't listen to me." And I had to tell her it was because I had started using stories, and that made it a lot easier for the children to listen and have a desire to listen. So she started using it and noticed it as well. I also wanted to talk with you about how you can engage the audience. There's so many times we get stuck in a certain teaching style and teaching method that we don't consider who we're teaching and how they're learning and being engaged. And if we are maybe every couple of weeks changing the way, you know, maybe stories one week, or maybe using movie clips and internet clips. I absolutely love Studio C. I think that they're a clean and a good internet website video to use, and that they have a lot of good values in them that you can use and teach with. And so that's who I prefer to use. I also think that it's important that we have a world view of everyone we're teaching. That's talked about in chapter 7. That we come in and we understand that we're not just teaching our race or our religion, that we're teaching everybody, and that it's important to make sure that we teach to those people. There are specific methods that we use in our teaching, and some of those would come to humility and teaching compassion. The book talks about having people that we're dealing with that have hard hearts, and we're going to come into contact with that. A lot of people may not even want to be with us, and they don't want to listen to what we have. And so the book gives ways that we can do that. Virginia H. Pierce has a great book. It's called A Heart Like His, and she goes along right with these guidelines of how we can teach people love and compassion, and even our own selves, how we can be a humble person, because sometimes if we are that way, then people start to soften to us a little bit more. And last, I wanted to cover with you was chapter 9. This is probably my favorite one because it's marriage and relationship education. We've been working on covering this in our lesson plan this week with our participants. And it talks about lots of ways that we can work on our marriage and improving relationships. One that I really like is John Gottman's 7 Principles for a Happy Marriage. Is that correct? 7 Principles of Marriage. And he talks about that you need to have a deep friendship with your spouse and your partner in order to continue to have a healthy marriage. And that's really important. Gary Chapman also provides something that's called love languages. And you can even take an online quiz that you don't have to have a book. And it will help you understand what you need to do to maybe relate or interact better with your spouse, and how they can relate and interact with you. And they even have one for your children as well. And last, I wanted to talk about the prospects of marriage and relationship education. The United States right now still has a pretty healthy view on marriages, and they value them. It's possibly declining, and so we are finding that it might be more difficult to have the government back us. And so luckily the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that the family is still positive to them, marriage is still positive, and that it's important to us. I think it's important that we teach this in our own homes, and not just show by example, but also teach that marriage is important. And I hope that what I've said today will help you, that this is stuff that was important to me and that I love to learn about. And I thank you for your time.